Hello there! Today I'm going to talk about the 9 worlds. The 9 worlds are the world view in Germanic neo-paganism. World is considered as a kind of tree, the world ash, the world tree, where there are 9 worlds on each 3 levels. The number derives from the magical number of 3, which has a great importance in Germanic neo-paganism, and 9 worlds considering of 3 times 3 worlds. There are different perceptions of the world tree. Some say it's 3 times 3 worlds. That's what I'm going to talk about today. But if you look it up, you sometimes find perceptions of 2, 5 and 2 worlds. It's simply onto the fact that there are 9 worlds told to be, but the sorting of the worlds is never really explained, and you have to look at different sources, and the way the worlds lie to each other are considered with north, east, west, south, and that makes it quite complicated in a 3-dimensional tree. I'm going to start at the bottom of the tree. Niflheim, it's one of the roots of the world tree. It's from where everything derived. It's the place of fog. Niflheim means home of fog. And it's the home of the Great Gap, from which everything derived. The Great Kettle lies there, from which all life came, from where water and ice sparked the first life. From here all rivers in our world derive. This place was there before everything started, so it's kind of the merging point from what was before to what is now. And this is the place that will boil again when the world ends. From here, darkness, fog and ice derive. The second world on the lowest level is hell. It's not to be confused with the Christian hell. It's only one L in writing, but it's a very, very big difference. Hell is a place where all dead come, who don't die violently and who are not picked by the gods to go to Asgard in some other way. In difference to Abrahamic religions, it is no place of punishment. People simply go there after they die. It's not only humans that go there, it's also dwarves and gods. Hell is kind of a place where it's a picture of the world above. You got an area for dwarves, for humans, for gods, and everybody lives the way they lived while they were still alive. And another great difference to the Abrahamic religions is that this is only a point of transition. When the world ends, the dead will die forever. And so it's not an eternal afterlife, so you just see it as a transition point. The third world underneath is the home of the dwarves, and this world has a lot of connections to our modern world and a lot of connections to Midgard. There are said to be a lot of tunnels. Everything under earth belongs to dwarves. When the dwarves were made, Odin gave them a lot of rich minerals and materials, and dwarves, being very crafty, were able to make the most precious treasures of all worlds. And that is why dwarves are very popular amongst humans and gods, which seek them to receive treasures made by them. There are a lot of legends in continental Europe where people dig too deep into the mountains, being greedy and have contact to the dwarves, and are punished for entering their world. On the middle plane there's Midgard, place of humans, and the main transition point when travelers from other worlds try to go somewhere else. We got the Rainbow Bridge towards Asgard. We got holy places from where you can go to the home of the elves or dwarves. There are so-called hellways. There are road names in Germany which are even called this way, and they mark the way down to the underworld. Surrounding Midgard are Jotunheim, which is the place of the frost giants. There are a lot of connections to the humans, as the Jotuns bring the frost and the gods protect us from them. They destroy harvests by frost and so on. This place is also the outer rim of Midgard, and the Jotuns have the stronghold Utgard, which keeps the outer rim from the nothing surrounding us. This nothing can be probably compared best to outer space in our modern world view and physics. And later it is also said that demons or ghosts live in this outer rim, so Utgard has to be the stronghold keeping the 9 worlds from the entering of the nothing outside. Not to be confused with the Great Chaos or the Great Gap in Niflheim, from where everything came. Then there's also Muspelheim, which is the home of the fire giants. It is reigned by Surtur, and he will set the spark which sets the world on fire on the day of the Ragnarok, when the world ends after being torn to flames. Muspelheim was one of the worlds which was already there when the world tree was created, or world and life were created. And together with Niflheim, the sparks from Muspelheim created first life. On the highest level or plane, there's the world of the gods, starting with the Aesir gods, Asgard, where all gods have their palaces, their homes. The Rainbow Bridge from Midgard goes there. There's also a kind of connection, or let's better say border, to Jotunheim. There's a river which never freezes, so it can never be crossed, and which keeps Asgard from Jotunheim. The second world is Vanaheim, where the Vanir gods live, except for those which were exchanged to the Aesir after the First War. There's few known about this world, and there are almost no connections to other worlds. They mainly stick to themselves. The last world on the highest plane is the home of the Light Elves, or the Elves, or however you want to call them. These are reigned by Freya, the Vanir god living with the Aesir. He rules them, and these creatures mainly stick to themselves, even though there are connections to Midgard. There are connections to Midgard from the world of the elves, as the elves live in our nature and create life and give every vegetation its soul. Elves are seldom seen. There are not as many connections to human as humans have to dwarves, for example. The theory of different worlds is also accepted in nowadays physics, where you have the multiple world theories, the quantum physics, call it however you want, but it's kind of similar. I don't want to say that the religious view is similar to physics, but you can see the connection there. Traveling between the worlds is not only considered being physical travel, but it's also a main part of Seder, where you can say in shamanic rituals, it is a great claim to travel all 9 worlds, to seek all of wisdom. It's something that even the gods seek. So it is someone who travel all 9 worlds is considered very, very wise, and it's very difficult to travel the worlds. And I only reached 4 worlds so far. If you think that living in one world is already part of it, it's not very much, but it's a travel, and I think it's really something that enriches your lifetime. Shamanism is not practiced by all, but the 9 worlds are really something special, and I think it's really worth traveling, even if you only see it metaphysically and not as something physical you can grab.